So, it's going to be a little change of plans this week. Normally I play EverQuest. We're going to be playing some amazing new game I found. Well, I mean, it's not new, but I was out there looking for random games and I ended up having fun, but not for the reason they intended. So I thought I'd play it on stream a little bit. It's called Farmer Life Simulator. All the action that's happening is muted because of the Fed. We're waiting for the Fed. That's the big thing right now. Everything you see is only a slight reaction because they know there's a huge event coming up. Now, every Fed meeting, well, not every Fed meeting, but a lot of Fed meetings, I'll say this is important, and the media will say it's important and all that kind of stuff. This time, they're absolutely right. This is the September meeting. This is going to be the end of the fiscal year for the United States, the end of the quarter. It's going to be the entrance to the last quarter of the year, second half of the half, however you want to break it up. We are 3/4 at this point of the way done with the year. So if you were to infer something and you had 75% of the data, would you feel more confident than if you had 25% of the data? Yeah. So people at this point are thinking of next year. It's not that they're thinking of next year in the late part of the quarter. Well, some people are. It's that Q3 is the mark where the new year really starts. People are trying to get in early and be all Wall Street about everything are in it at September to September, not January to January, because that's the tax cycle. There are a lot of people, business people mostly, and people that don't know any better that are in it the tax cycle. But the chain, so you think about these earnings reports we've just had, we're coming into the late part of that. There's still earnings to go, but not like most of the big ones have already happened. There's news coming out. There's political news that's interfering with the market, right? The China thing with the iPhone, right? They banned the iPhone because U.S. banned two plus Chinese companies. So China was like, all right, we're going to ban this one. I mean, they do most of their manufacturing in China. So that was it. It took them a while because they knew if they banned them, they were going to piss Apple off, and Apple's one of their biggest customers. I mean, part of their success is because of Apple. If you think about like Apple taking all of its manufacturing and moving it out of there, that's not going to happen. But if that did happen, that would be devastating for China. Now, China has tons of business. That's why they rose so quickly. Everybody wanted to do business with them. They had a model set up that was a great place to move your businesses for the past like 50 years. Ever since the modern world kind of stabilized in terms of how things operated, they sort of were like, hey, by the way, we'll do all this shit for you, and we've got the right, we're just at the right point in time to be able to do it super cheap. And we can grow and we can do quality, but we're going to focus on cheaper and cheaper over time stuff. Because at first, the whole thing was China wasn't just cheap, it was good at the stuff that it did. They thought, this is great, you could do some great manufacturing here. But then over time, business infected itself. It wasn't that politics did this, it's that business did this. The same thing that brought businesses over there in the first place eroded those businesses' spending in the area. It changed it because they first they get established and they get the huge boosts at home, and that was the only point originally. Just get the boosts at home from this quick move. Then they started moving on to like, okay, well, now that we've been doing this for a while, how do we work this to our advantage? And the government's doing the same thing. They're like, well, now we've got this business, we've got all these businesses, and they need us because regulations in their country prevent them from doing some of the stuff that we're doing. So we can start charging them more. So this kind of war broke out between the businesses, like a symbiotic relationship formed, and then a war broke out to be like, they need each other. But they don't. At some point, each one has more power. Like one will have more power than the other at some points. Sorry, I'm trying to get ready here for the game, so I'm a little bit distracted with all this. But the point is, there's a price war between the businesses and the government of China, and that's spilling over into the markets. To make it easy, we're just trying to get to a point where we understand where this is going to go. And the reason the market has been the way it is because, one, there's the Fed coming up. Two, it's the end of the fiscal year for the United States and thus a lot of important industry. Three, it's the end of a quarter. Four, it's the end of the month that has some of the worst trading of all time. September is one of the worst months, if not the worst month. And the surprises that happen in September are huge because everyone expects to do so poorly, because it does. It always does. There have been times where it did better in September, but every year that I've traded the market, September has been bad, even when it didn't look like it, because of wild swings. And the wild swings people don't realize are caused by low volume. Sorry, I'm like hiccuping there. Low volume creates massive moves. Now, the reason people use volume is to see when the crowd is moving so that they know the momentum on any given direction will have more staying power than it normally would. So if you have a bunch of volume, it's hard to reverse that. And if you could just ride that wave, you can kind of get some confirmation in your price bias. So you look at price, you say, all right, price is looking good for what I want to do. What's the volume look like? And if volume is heading in that direction, you think, all right, it's going to take a lot to flip this. So I'm just going to jump on for a little bit, take the gains, or use this as an opportunity if I'm an investor to take my investment up to the next level and go from there. Well, at this point, there's so much going on that it's hard to do that. So businesses are reacting, people are reacting, traders are reacting. The news is doing its thing. Wow. See, this is what is interesting. The news is so much more powerful than it used to be. It's not about just one set of media conglomerates anymore. It's about social media, which now has its own media conglomerates and is its own media conglomerate in some ways, but it's still the way everything moves in the market. I mean, you have to understand how things are actually working in real life in order to make effective trades on it in the stock market. So what do I have up right now? WWE. I had a wonderful trade on this last week. Oh man, it was a Thursday to Friday. Saw this massive dump right here. And for this stock, that was insane. If I back up a little bit, let's see if I can do that. I mean, look at this. It's straight up. Or not straight up, but it's like perfect. It is a perfect move. And where we are resting right now, if I were to believe the technical analysis fan people, is the very bottom, or at least somewhere around the bottom. So it could go down a little bit farther. And I think it would be likely if it did. But if you look at this, every time reliably it's hit this lower point in this little range, it keeps bouncing back up. And that doesn't happen right away. Just because there's this massive pump here doesn't mean that happened. Like, look at this. This was, think about the beginning of the year, it went down and then it pumped up just a little bit below where it was and then broke down. So this thing looked super bearish. If you're looking at last year and thinking about this jump up, you're like, oh, that's too high. That's too much, blah, 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 blah. No, but it's still following that trend. And this trend continues farther back than this. It's not just... See, it's been doing this for a little while. Like eventually it turns around, and it was somewhere around this point, but maybe not quite as high a few years ago. So you look at this, it's come up quite a bit. I mean, this was in the $40, $30, $20 range at one point. That was probably the bottom of the pandemic, wasn't it? Yeah, 2019. So this would be 2020. Exactly. Oh man, if you could have grabbed WWE in the fucking pandemic drop, that would have been great. Look at this. I mean, it's a gap down, probably on earnings, unless that was a gap from the trade. No, 129. That was before this even happened. See, that's the interesting part. Let me zoom in on this. That looks a little bit more realistic. So you see this huge gap. This was before earnings. So this was probably some pre-announcement. I was not following the stock back then because I was still learning. I mean, it takes you years to learn just the basics of everything. And I was like mired in the late stages of that at this point. So I was not paying attention to this stock. And it was massively dropping from $60, which was a little high because before that it was, probably, was this when it was up? No, it had come down already. Okay. So it had this bounce beforehand. These were the original old time highs that ended up passing once it got to that point, but it had a bad earnings beat. Look at this. It missed and then it trended down and it had another kind of earnings. So it bounced around, but people knew it wasn't going to go much lower for a while until it went lower. But at the end of the year, there's a lot of tax loss selling. There's all this stuff going on. And this was 2019. So the market was good then. It was like kind of even. It was 2018 that I'm thinking of that was worse. But they didn't do well. Another earnings thing. So what I think happened, they popped up quite a bit in the past because of their model. I mean, I haven't even looked into it all that much. I've basically just done the superficial glance at this stock because I wanted to trade it. I've been seeing, I have friends and family that watch it. I don't. So they would always talk to me about it. And every so often I'd hear about the stock and I'd be like, oh, crazy. This thing has a stock. And I'd see, maybe it reported on earnings and had a drop like this. And I'd see it on TV and go, oh, look at that stock. I see a stupid wrestling thing. It's going down. And it was for a while, but it had come up so much that it's normal. It's like the market right now. We've dropped quite a bit from the highs, but we've still gone up immensely. Like this is a chart of the S&P right here, and the left side of the screen is about where we started the year. Yeah, there's a dotted line. It's kind of hard to see depending upon what you're watching this on. But we started at a low. We pumped up to this volume point, which I have 3 high volume accumulation areas. So I don't do a whole lot of technical analysis, but this to me ties in with fundamental stuff because this is just the areas where most of the volume is centered. I talk about this a lot, but this is so important because I drew these lines like a year and a half ago almost now, and they've been holding up perfectly. Now, all the other technical analysis I've done or looked at, because, I'll see these videos every once in a while. Somebody will talk about something, so I'll check it out a little bit. But I'm overly skeptical because I've been in this long enough to know that all this stuff is bullshit if you just try to use that one thing. Well, it's the way to use these indicators is as like another piece. You want it along with everything else. You want to look at other stuff first, but if you have some technical stuff that's in line with it, and sometimes technical stuff, like the reason I made the trade on this stock, will lend you to very predictable movement. So when this stock, came down for a while and it had been rising for years at this point, finally had this drop, I was ready for it. So let me back up again. Yeah, the whole year, it kind of looked bad at the beginning. So this would have been a couple of months, right? So if this is April right here, April was when it pumped. So the first quarter of the year, it had this huge jump from where it closed last year. But a lot of that has to do with the market of last year. It was a downhill year all year. And on that note, this was a down year for everything else, and this went up perfectly. So this trend that I'm talking about has been going on for a couple of years now. It started in a down market. So why would that be, right? You know why? Because it's not football and baseball with massive stadiums and huge, just so much asset, like physical asset problem. They can just they can rent any convention center they want. They can set up however big of an event they want. They can judge the scale. Football's always got to be football. Baseball's always got to be baseball. The pandemic, they can film this in somebody's basement if they wanted to. And you know how many people would watch? Tons. But then you go, all right, people want to go to a football game. They got to all be together. And the exact perfect storm we had in 2020 was enough to drive them almost out of business. If that had lasted longer, it would have been crazy. But they went up because they can do what they want. And this is a company that's joining with the UFC in a blanket company. Like this, it's owned by both of the WWE and the UFC are owned by Endeavor. Endeavor is turning into TKO soon. And TKO is like a coalition of Endeavor and some other stuff. So this is like things upon things upon things all joining together. It's not just about WWE and UFC. But those two things alone are amazing pandemic and non-pandemic products. They're things that like I'm aware of, but I don't watch a whole lot of. And it's becoming popular. Both of these are becoming so much more popular. And this is the kind of stuff I wouldn't have paid attention to growing up because I wasn't into sports. I wasn't into the wrestling type thing. It just didn't do it for me. I gave this whole spiel last week about how it was like awkward to watch it, but I had to watch it because so many people I knew loved it. And I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying I wasn't that into it. So I wasn't expecting it to be such a juggernaut, but then I've been thinking about it now that I look at stocks. This stock has been going up because it's perfect for that environment. And now that it's got that momentum, it's going to be good in this environment too. So it really doesn't matter. And there's always talk of the lockdown starting again because they happened a while ago. They were reinstated. They were continued. Some places did them, some places didn't. We had this kind of fight about it. They're still having a fight about it. Like, who knows what's actually going to happen? So people want to prepare for any situation, and they're good. I mean, it's a better business model than having to run a massive professional sporting league, even though UFC is a professional sporting league. I'm saying a traditional professional sporting league, a legacy one, if you will. Now, the legacy ones, I think, have more merit in the society than they did before, but they have an expensive business model because they're so established. Like, how many of these institutions are 100 years plus old? That's insane if you think about it for how modern this stuff is. And in the grand scheme of things, how short of a time we've been doing all this stuff. So I'm going to be coming up on an ad break here. So I need to take a break myself. But I wanted to talk about that just a little bit. But mostly I wanted to play this game, Farmer Life Simulator, because it's an insanely fun game for the wrong reasons. And hopefully I could make those wrong reasons happen. So I was just finishing up here about WWE. Had a nice trade on it. It was trading around up here. We had this massive drop in a day. And it was uncharacteristic for the stock. If you look at how it's behaved in the past few years, it doesn't move that much, that quickly often. But if it does, where is it? Right on this little bottom trend line here. One that actually matters because it's something all levels and all types of traders are looking at. It's not just about like, what's the perfect indicator? And there are all kinds of AI simulations trying to figure that out right now. I mean, they made progress, but they still don't know any better than just the bullshit that's out there on the internet. So look at that. A basic trend line. What's more simple than that? And a top that follows it almost perfectly. So I'm not saying this is going to stay right here. What I'm saying is this is a massive move for this stock. Like this type of a move. or this type of a move, but in that direction. And you don't see that to the downside. It takes some time for the sellers to give in to the buying. People like this stock because they see the potential. It doesn't matter what you think about the WWE, the UFC, or any of the other products. It's about what their actual potential is. And people's biases about what it is get in the way of that. So mine did too. And I ignored it through this entire thing. And it's such an obvious thing at the perfect time. Right? Look at everything is this world now. Right? This is such a perfect environment for stuff like this to exist. And they were already doing this decades before this time period started. Think about all the stuff you see. It's basically just like there's some sort of a media, there's a bunch of merchandise, there's conventions, and there's events. And they just do that continuously. They were doing that before most TV shows were. And then you think about the UFC. It's basically what a bunch of different people from all these different backgrounds wanted to see. What is the best martial art? Let's just go see everything we figured out up until this point can be tested in this arena right here, and everybody will just watch it. And it's more civilized than the Coliseum where they were getting eaten by fucking lions and shit. So it's still the same shit though. It's us getting into this massive ecosystem monetarily for an idea, a narrative, a story, one that's compelling, but one that's also ridiculous. And there's you think about, ooh, why would you watch that? Well, why would you watch that? Because there's people in underwear that are fighting and they have muscles and oil. So that's why I thought, why not just go for a trade on this thing? It's really that simple. And it worked. If you look at the market is agreeing with that. This would be the time for oiled muscles and such. But at a certain point, the reality of what they're doing is going to have to, they have expenses. It's not, even though it's cheaper than all the other stuff I was talking about, it's not free, and it's still difficult, and there's regulations, and there's this new environment isn't something they're pioneering. They're just piggybacking on what everybody else is doing because they have to at this point. Momentum has the economy. So you either go with it or you resist it. And the people that resist it miss out on years of gains. Like this stock right here. Let me switch this to, what about weekly? There's a weekly view, so years. I like to look at this as long-term as possible. Now, weekly is about as far as some people will go with this thing. And I think it's a good view because this is a very general one, if you think about that. If you're talking about Warren Buffett-style investors, they're looking at really long time frames and have been forever. That's why they've been right. And, well, besides the fact that they're cornering the markets in different ways. I mean, but other than that, if you think you don't have to corner the market to watch this. You know, what are they going to do? They're going to bet on the side of this continuing because inflation will not stop. So what do you think is more likely? People just give up and decide to destroy everything, or they're like, hey, why don't I just see where this goes? I'll give in to the thing I've been resisting and we'll see where it goes. Instead of destroying everything, we could just be like, all right, well, we'll just see where it goes. It might be that simple, and I think the people that understand that, at least however long, because maybe eventually it'll blow up. I don't know. That's a possibility too. But until then, why are you betting on it? Because if it blows up and you're right, you're not going to be able to do anything with your money anyway. So why aren't you betting against that narrative and taking advantage of that while you live? Because even if you're wrong one day, then it's like, well, at least most of my life I was right. I can just follow the stupid trend. People that don't know, they're just going to get in on this thing. They're going to get out when these little dips happen. And at the time, these were massive drops, and it's overvalued. It's always overvalued. It's just going to follow inflation. Sorry, so a good stock isn't about its value. It's about being able to withstand inflation. Is it just going to drag along with everything else because it's become necessary in the ecosystem? Or is it going to be the new thing that goes out? Because all the new shit dies. Every once in a while something does it, but it's very rare. All the new shit dies. And it really doesn't take you that long to realize that. When you've been alive long enough to see multiple cycles, and that's just a few years of your life. I mean, teenagers, 20 years old, 30 years old, you've seen stuff like this. And if you've been going on longer than that, you could have just taken part in the long-term trend easily and gone about the rest of your life the way you did it. Just take a little bit and be like, just as a backup, even if it doesn't blow up, maybe I'll grab this stuff in case it continues. Well, there you go. Something that you could grab at least temporarily. Well, it's what's better, that it's this new miracle thing or naked dudes wrestling? Right? Or naked dudes fighting. Which one is going to be more valuable long term? When people have the complex ability to see all this nuance and understand it and have this perfect world, or just idiots being dumb, fighting and fucking? We're all idiots that are dumb fighting and fucking. But what do you think people are going to watch en masse versus the stuff that takes a lot? All your stuff like, oh, you're too this to do that. I'm too this. I do this. That's why I'm so like, blah, 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 blah. Like, all right, so let's live in the world where that works now. What are you going to do when that little like sliver of reality doesn't become all of reality? Exactly. We all think it's going to be this one thing. No, it's not. It's just going to keep going. Even if you think it's dumb and you're right, maybe you are. But the money has to run out first. And if you think about inflation, the money's going to run out way later than you can withstand. Who thinks that they have enough willpower to withstand decades and decades of a move? No. Exactly. So if you're out within short periods, you might get this, yes, these very rare years, but a lot of time you're going to get these ones that go sideways. You don't know where they are because these are the ones where you're always right. Except these huge, massive plunges, and you're like, oh, it's going to be more than... Like, look at this. When you got this massive dip right here, or this crash, this was a crash. This was terrifying. People didn't want to... People going from here, oh my gosh, going from almost 100 to 60, that's terrible. And then, now look at where we are. We're around 100. Oh, no, we closed at 98. Yeah, we could go down way farther, too. But this thing is moving on a trajectory that I don't want to miss out on it if the basic thing happens that I thought would happen. Because we all have it tied to all this other stuff. And I thought as long as this continues, this business model and the economy and everything we have it right now, we're good. And the thing is, if things change, like if the Fed changes directions, this will do even better. This thing will be launched into outer space if certain things happen with their contract. But I don't want to bet on that. You know why? Because contracts are expensive, shares are expensive. It's a highly risky company because it is new. In the Warren Buffett sense, and the people that want to discount Warren Buffett the way I was just doing a little bit ago, what about the stuff that he's right about? What about the fact that the things you don't expect to continue do continue? And you don't have to be a genius to catch on. You could just look at the stuff and see which is the one I keep regretting not having continuously. Okay, well then when I get a chance to own this one, maybe I'll give it a shot if it's a big enough move. And we get this massive like $20 even. I don't remember where the lows were, but it was pretty crazy. Maybe it was like $30 from where it peaked. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's still way up historically. It's way towards the top. It's had this massive move. So a one-day move of that magnitude when people had no idea what was going on. Because that's the thing, look for the news. If you're not finding news on something, there's a huge move happening, that's the time. That's the time when you have to do the thing you don't want to do. When you see that big of a move in a stock that doesn't... Look, this is weekly, right? So this is years of movement. You could have caught any of this, and if you gave up at any of these little points, you hate yourself because it's so massive. And look at the end. We're so volatile in the recent section. But where are we? Right in the middle of that. So I don't discount it. When we're at areas of high volatility like that, where there's a lot of risk taking, yeah, we could move in either direction. So how do I play it both ways? You could have invested in this company long term when it was going down. When it shot up like this, you knew, okay, it's being squeezed, yes, but there's a reason it's being squeezed. And look, it double topped. So the shorts, because they're so behind on this, they're in a fantasy world. By the time it gets up here, they're trying to be like, oh my God, it's coming back. This is the thing. We're finally happening. And instead of getting out when they know they should, because they did that a little bit and now they regret it. So they were right at some random point in here, and then they're just chasing it through this whole thing. This is not big enough. They're looking for this. The traders that bet hardcore, that are right to the point where you hear about them in the news, are the ones that did the riskiest shit right here. So they're the ones trying to get back into it. The biggest money that took the biggest risk at the worst time is trying to get back into this. And it's a low volume area usually. And we get to these points where like, oh, here it was. There's a double top and they fell. Yeah, but where do they fall to? That trend. How long is that trend? I don't know, but it continues. Let me back up. Years. So then what if we switch this to months? There you go. All right, so this is how I found out about the stock. I researched it in reverse. I went, this was the most perfect stock to buy, and I didn't see it because of my own prejudice. We talk about prejudice. It's overblown. That's what your prejudice is. It's not all the bullshit that they're trying to tell you it is about in the media. It's about just missing the dumb shit that you should have caught on to early. And when you see these kind of movements in a stock that has continued to follow a trend for years or decades, It's not a bad bet when something crazy to the contrary happens to it to be like, well, what if this isn't the truth? What if it goes back into the thing that it's been doing for like a decade or more? Okay, well, no, it's over. That was it. It's just done right now. Even if it is done, is it just going to drop with this much volume? Look at the amount of people that bought into it. Boop, at this point now became the stock, and it went up ever since. We had massive squeezes, massive bear markets because of everything else. It had to come back to a reasonable valuation. And where is that valuation? Long-term charts. People are looking at all kinds of different shit, and it usually ends up being the long-term view versus the short-term view. So these are the long-term these are the short terms right here, right? These huge movements are short-term views. So when you see something like this, it's a fundamental switch in short-term views. And then when you see a reversal, you know there's a chance to grab the wave because this is the snapback reaction to such a powerful move in a short period of time. Though this move isn't wrong and this move isn't right, they both have merit because they're coming back to a point where the stock continues. And right now, we had a massive move to the contrary in one day. So I decided if this is the monthly chart, we finally had this. Maybe, because this part, the bounce hadn't happened yet. We had to boom, and it's sitting here. And I think about these moments specifically, but I always do this other shit, and it gets me caught up. I don't make as much progress as I should in those departments. But these moves are the ones that pay off consistently, and the ones I try to wait for, but I don't always succeed in waiting for. I get to a point where I just don't want to do it because I've been doing these little stupid trades that just broke even or lost a little bit of money and didn't even get me to the point. That's the thing. The losses are so different now than they used to be. The losses are so absolutely fucking tiny, but they hurt like 10 times as much as they did when I was losing large amounts of money. It's just the way I've disciplined myself. It gets to a point where it's so difficult when the thing happens to actually do the thing you wanted to do. But this time I did it because I knew a reaction was likely. And this would be the most likely reaction. We had this dump, way out of character, came in, got it at its lows, saw a bounce, didn't take advantage of it in the way that I could have if I had been a little more patient. But I was afraid, so I took some profits early and didn't get as much as I wanted on it. And we had a retracement. Not quite lows, but a point where I thought, oh, well, if this is going to bounce, this would be the time, even if it's going to be a dead cat bounce, which it should be based on the movement that we've seen. So I caught that little point too, and it's like, all right, here we go, nice. And then came down again. So I lost a bunch of those gains before I took them. I took a very small profit on the contracts, kept a little bit in the game because I still think things could move, but the profit wasn't quite as big as it could have been, even though the first part was perfect. So that was the thing I was waiting for. Doing this stuff afterward is the stuff I don't normally do. But because things were trading the way they were trading, I thought, let's just try a little bit of the thing I've been trying to get myself to try. Not that I think those times are the times to make moves, but those are the times I needed to experiment with to see if this strategy is actually working in the right way. And the data I got from it was great. But it still sucked to lose a little bit of money to an experiment when I was right about my original plan, and would have done that if I hadn't been trying to run other experiments. So that's terrible. It's like, if I was just investing because I was investing, it would have been like, all right, boom, there's the thing I'm waiting for. Now let me get back to my thing. But me, it was like, all right, there's the thing I'm waiting for. Time to pile on. No, wait, no, don't do that. So then I don't pile on, but then I miss some things and I don't get some things, and it just turns into this like, oh man, that bounce was more than I thought it was going to be. But it's not as much, it's not surprising. It's where I actually would have expected it to be, not where I thought it was going to be. And that's the mistake people make, is trading where they would like it to be, not where they expect it to be. So you should put the trade in that you need to put. I'm not saying that you should shy away from the thing you need to trade, because we all have this idea that we're trying to trade in there. We're trying to set up a position that mimics that idea to the best degree possible. But we get to a point where it's hard to go in either direction. And I knew this drop was it. So I took advantage of that drop, bought the contracts, which I don't normally do in this environment. Was able to take advantage of that. Tried to ride it a little bit further, but didn't get anywhere. Jumped out of the game and thought, all right, even if this moves up, I'm good with what I get. But I have a little bit left just in case. And that's the way I like to make a play. You don't have to do what I hate about making plays is when you have to make like a one move play and you can't set multiple facets of a plan up at the same time because certain things happen in ways that you think like you know it's possible, but it's probably not going to be as much as you're hoping for. You're not going to get these green candles. You're looking for these green candles. You're not going to get these green candles. But you can see these red candles. And these are the ones you miss. These are the ones you always pass up because, no, I don't know what's going on with this thing. I don't want to catch a falling knife. Yeah, and you shouldn't. It's not a good place to be. But if you have the money to gamble and you know that's a gamble, but you've been seeing the percentage of this play work out more than anything else you've tried, perhaps it's time to try a little bit, but do it responsibly, not like a fucking idiot. That's why you have all the problems we have, all the regulations and all the bad parts of it. It's because people do dumb shit. And if we just didn't do dumb shit, we could use the financial system properly to actually benefit ourselves and our lives and everybody else. But no, we're all looking for this. We're trying to do this. So the big players try to force this, and they do. Then it gets tied up, and you don't know what's going to happen. So seeing these kind of moves are the safer ones if you're trying to do these rare opportunities, which is what I trade. These specific moves only are the ones that I look for. And I've been waiting for another one of these for so long, and here it is. It's been like a year since I've had an example this nice of an opportunity like that. So this was amazing. And since this, hasn't really been much else. And I'm just waiting because the Fed meeting coming up is the important event. This is when we're going to find out what markets are going to do. Everybody's waiting for it. The U.S. is waiting for it. The Fed and the U.S. are waiting for each other, and they're reporting at the same time. The Fed goes first. So the Fed says, okay, U.S., you've made all your deals. So these are the parameters we're going to lay out for you. And then the U.S. has to respond to that. It's not like one thing and the U.S. owns it or whatever. It's a central bank, man. It is based in the U.S. It is formed from U.S. policy and the U.S. system. But at this point, the entire world functions as a unit. And the aspects of this Fed will describe, or this Fed meeting will describe what the U.S. needs to do, when we get into the new year, which is October, not January. That's what I've been looking for. All right, it's time to play this game. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're actually going to play it. So the same strategy in the market with these high volume lines has been working out. When it's at the line, it might chill. When it's in between the line, that's when the movement happens. So I wait for those points when it's low volatility, high risk. That's when you shouldn't be looking for those moves, but those are when they're there. So when I see these things happen in a WWE and it's way off character for everything else, I take a small risk because small risks can pay off. And I was right. Yeah, big risks do, sure, but if you try to find those and you're not going to. These happen like once or twice a year. Literally, these plays happen once or twice a year. And it may not be done, there may be more of it, but the thing that I thought would happen happens once or twice a year. Here we go. So I need to get to the game. I'm going to play some music, and then we're actually going to play Farmer Life Simulator, the best game in the past however many years. Here we go. Thanks for being here. And Etch and Phoenix, I appreciate you, man. Sub is amazing. Going for that 14 months, dude. You are the best. I appreciate that, dude. Hey, look forward to your next stream because you stream the game. I don't normally play the game. Tonight I want to actually play the game. So here I go. That's why I just started like this because I thought, all right, let me say my piece, and then I'm going to try to play and show you the ridiculousness, but also just whateverness of this game. It's not bad. If you want to, I got it on sale for a minuscule amount of money, so I thought, why not? And here you go. It's entertaining enough in its own right, and it was tough enough to get running with everything. Streaming is not as easy as they tell you. My gosh, I can't get this shit going There's always a problem. You know what I mean? There's always a fucking problem. So here we go. Let's play the actual game for once in my life. So thank you, and Asher Phoenix. I appreciate that 14 months. That means so much to me. You're the man. Go check out his stream. Go check out Shalom Fishby's stream. I want to do content with both of you in the future. I think we all could benefit from each other because having different things, different specialties is beneficial in this environment. You know, it's like we all try to do our own thing, but it's hard to compete against everyone else doing that thing that's better. We can't only do so much from our own little section of the world, and you know, it's hard to go about the things you're trying to go about. And finding the right people, I think, that do other things actually forms a nice team. So I'm glad to see you guys around. Maybe we'll do some content together. We'll all solidify this. It's not just about going places on your own. It's about seeing what kind of community you can create. And we're all creating communities together. It's not just our community. It's we are latching on to something and implying, and we're changing some shit. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to play. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now. I appreciate everybody here that's here. It's not a lot, but it's good enough to me because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hang with the homies and show them some games. So here's what I do. Are you ever played games like this? So anybody that's actually like chilling or that anybody actually wants to say anything now? Have you ever played games like this? Have you played Farmer Life Simulator? Because this was just some random shit I found. Now, I used to be a hardcore gamer, and I gave that shit up years ago, and then I started to try to get back into it a little bit responsibly, the way you should. Not like I used to do it. But I found these like random games that, all right, I'll just buy whatever the fuck's on sale and promote it at cheap prices sometimes and see what kind of games are out there because there's always advertisements of the current version of something. And I just want to see what those some things are. I'm not looking for the game itself. And these are the kind of games like, all right, if you wanted to do that, what would you think? First of all, it's terrible. You just collect vegetables and sell them. That's all you do. You have to go buy a sandwich every day. You got to buy, like, you have to go to a fake Subway and buy a sandwich. And then that's, you're a farmer. Why can't you make your own food? You have a kitchen. You have to go to the bathroom. You just walk in the bathroom, click on the toilet, then you go to bed. It's like, I get it. That is a farm life. But there's more to it than just putting vegetables in a crate, planting them the night before, and selling them to somebody directly. Like, whoop, no, whatever. There we go. Money is money, and there's nothing else. It's just, all right. There's free vegetables every day. There's no problems. There's no pests. There's no damage. There's no gophers. There's no infiltration of the protection from other type of pests. You know, it's unbelievable. If people have grown things, they're like, oh, the first couple of years I grew something, it was amazing, and then it was hard. Well, yeah, because the shit that eats everything found out you were there. We're like, hey, fresh shit that isn't guarded. Boom, here we go. And you find out why it's so difficult to mass produce things. It's not a joke. We fight this whole thing, and it's like the methods we're using to control that are causing serious problems. But we're not paying attention to the reasons why we need to do those things. They're still there. So what are we actually doing about those things? That's how you trade, man. You look for trades in the market that actually match that at perfect intervals. And guess what? WWE and UFC do. It's where things are right now. So why not bet on it? Because it's a perfect opportunity to be like, hey, if this shit's going on anyway, if everybody's watching fucking Joe Rogan and you're tired of Joe Rogan, then there's a reason, because that's where society is. It's peaking. At times we're like, all right, I was in on this early. It's way overblown now. Everybody's up with it. And this is the kind of universe you're going to see. The Joe Rogan universe, and not just that. I'm making fun of that. I shouldn't be, because everybody's getting political these days. But basically the dudes and everybody that watches that shit might watch one of these and the other things they have going on. And the people that don't like them, the people that fight against that stuff, are going to be watching the competitors that are also owned by their parent company. So look for this whole thing. That's why I'm looking at the WWE, UFC, Endeavor, TKO, the coming merger. There's going to be a massive influx of trade on this stock, and it's at its lows. It could drop even more. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but the lower it goes, the more I would suspect a short-term bounce when the market is strong and it looks like it's sold off enough. So everything has its fall, and I think this thing definitely is way overblown. But where is that fall going to land before the trend continues to the next section? And people miss that. That's why these volume areas that I was showing you matter, because when it gets to these points, it consolidates for a while. This is where most people exchange shares. Then once it starts to go towards the center point between these volume areas, it tends to go right up to it. Even if there's some fight before there, right up there. And then guess where it is? It's hanging up here now. When it gets down here, it has pull back here. So we see that this part, and then we think it's over. We don't realize, no, this is the zone that's in control right now. It's not that it's going to fall down to here, because most people that are relevant in this market, in this time frame, I should say, are in it right here. But the people in it from these lower points are way up, and they don't care. They're not going to go with these little drops and pops. They're looking for long-term value. When it's been trading down for like 3, 4, 5 months, and it's still holding strong even when the market's doing whatever it's doing, and perhaps that's why it's trading the way it's trading, because most stocks follow the market. So when it was down and the market was down, I thought this was an opportunity. So I'm going to play this game now. Thanks, everybody, for being here. It's actually time to get going because this game is amazing. So what do? You come out here, you take these vegetable bins that you just grew of the magical fruit that you bought from the guy, and you sell them to some dude that's sitting over here. He's I keep thinking it's a spacesuit, but it's supposed to be a generic hoodie. And it's the same guy. There's only one person in this game. They saved on all that. And as long as you're in town with this guy all the time. So I'm looking around for what I'm supposed to do. This is it. You grow vegetables and you sell them. You ever wanted to do that? Well, yeah, this is what you do. Only to this guy. Oh. 1.5. There you go. Now what else do I do? I drive this stupid fucking truck. This thing has so many problems. So this this is why I play this game, because this stupid truck has problems. And trying to drive it, oh, it's weird getting used to. See, trying to drive that right there. There should just be a stop, and there is. It just resets. So there's a key. This game is so bad. There's a key to just reset the truck. It's getting all fucked up. So sometimes I hit that key and the car just jumps like that, and that's okay. But sometimes you need that. That's why it's there. That's what I'm trying to do. So you'll see what I'm talking about at some point. I'm gonna get out of this thing. And you're just the hands that walk around. You have to jump to get on curves. There's no finesse to this game. There's weird dudes just sitting outside, and it's the same guy. Every day, it's the same guy with a slightly different outfit. You do whatever you want, and he doesn't do anything. It's just weird. It's so weird. So you go in this fake subway, and the doors are horrible. Everywhere you go, these doors have more force than you, no matter what you do. And I mean, that's true in some ways, but not really. There are people that just can slam right through the thing. So you need a sandwich every day. I just bought a $5 sandwich from this guy. I live on a farm. I make everything. But I can't make a sandwich. All right. So there's this guy on the laptop every day. You know, it's the same thing. It's just one sprite with different clothes. And maybe I'm using the wrong terminology. I apologize. There are people that know about that stuff. I don't. All right. I just play these games. They're dumb. They're fun. Can't imagine just going, all right. Well, actually, I can't imagine. Well, someone could program a game like this. I mean, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to have kind of basic thing going on. So you drive through this little area, which you normally wouldn't. But why not? And everybody, you get, no matter what, you just stop. He's trying to get around these things. Like, all right, there we go. There's pharmacy in case you don't feel good. You just go there, get some kind of health bar. And I bought. Oh, that's what I did. I bought this vegetable shop. And you can get a little bit of money. You can buy a juice bar and a vegetable shop. So instead of bringing the oranges, and I have no idea what to do with that. I go in there with the oranges, and there's nowhere to put them, and it's just the same guy in there. So I park in the middle of the street. I go in here, and it says put stuff on the shelf. Okay, I can understand that. But the juice bar says bring in oranges, and I don't know what to do with them. I brought in so many oranges. Too many oranges. All right, let's go. This game is so much fun. You just drive through trees, but everything else matters so much. Like this gate here. You're fine. And if you have stuff in the back of your truck, it's still in there. There you go. You want first person? This is the first person. No, it's stuck, I guess. This is why we. This is why you have the. It's still. It's just like nothing's working right. That's what I was looking for. This is what happens all the time in this game. You spend the whole day like harvesting my vegetables. You get stuck in the trees. And I'm just like, you're just wasting your life for this game. Like anybody that downloaded the game. I'm laughing at how much of their life they wasted playing it because there's so many opportunities to do this, and then you're just stuck in the truck. Okay. Okay, there we go. If I have to run home, I'll run home, but I really just... Wow, man, it's not letting me go. Alright, I guess I'm gonna run home, which is annoying. There we go, let's try this. Spam the button and... Oh, there we go. There's something. Alright, here we go. I got... thought I was gonna have to redo this whole day. And which wouldn't... It's not that bad. There were almost no vegetables to harvest. But normally you have this whole field of stuff to do. And then you get stuck in the field and you just wasted your life. You wasted so much of your life trying to collect the vegetables. And you get out of it and you're stuck. That's why I love this game, because it's so funny. It's sad. That's why it's funny. It's not that it's actually funny, it's that it's sad because there's so many it's the greatest thing ever. I love it. I'm stuck on there's something right there. Alright, let's see if we can get this loose again. Oh, it's that neighborhood. If I can get alright, hold on, wait, maybe I can get out now. Oh, good. Ah, the rocks everywhere. See, that's the problem. They put all these like stupid trees. Some of them work, some of them don't. Which ones are which? But you can get back onto the road. Oh, this is going terribly. Alright, here we go. Where are we? Alright, there we go. We're back at the corner. So this is the corner you're going to wipe out at most of the time. There are two spots. One on the way there, one on the way back. And this is going to be the one you wipe out on the way back. Because you're so tired of the sandwich. You've been the sandwich place 5 times. You're just like, I can't do this anymore. And then you get to this twist in the road. You gotta do it again. Oh god, I'm like having a meltdown right now. This is so funny. Here we go. So then you get back to your, and I realize I have to go get the plants for the next day. I didn't even do that. Alright, but I have something. I have this garden, right? So if I'm going to play this game and make sense of it, I'm going to have a garden. Well, that's the shit you can plant. That's about it. You can do it. I got 3 rows of stuff. But then I've got my garden. And there's one more plant to get. It's full. So I think, alright, what am I going to do with that? Fill up this next lane with that? Well, maybe. I don't know. Keep at least the first 2 open for whatever I want to do. What do you do with the money? You buy the juice bar and you buy the vegetable shop. And then what? I don't know. Doesn't look like there's anything else involved with this game. You buy those 2 places and then you put the vegetables you've been growing and getting tired of harvesting and replanting every day. You can make so much money, but it's just such a pain to just wake up and harvest the vegetables and pee and then go to bed and sell them You know, doing it all in one day just stresses you out. You think, oh, here's a perfect game to relax. And at the end of this, you get so upset and so anxious because you're just trying to chill, and it's like the perfect game for that. But because of these problems, it's gonna drive so many people to like rage quit this. And it's like I logged onto it, and there's I don't know, a couple hundred followers, a couple thousand followers. I can't remember exactly what it is. I think it's a couple thousand. But I thought, really, this game has that many people watching? But then I don't know how old it's been. I don't know what the competition is. I was just looking for some random game, and I found this. So that was hilarious. So I have a garden. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have a garden to make some sense of this game, figure out what I'm going to do as we finish it out. Because, all right, I bought the 2 stores, and I bring them the shit that I don't want to grow anymore. What do I do next? I don't know. It's like big. Oh, here we go. Sloan Fishby. It's like big rigs with shitty farm simulator tacked on. Yes, it is. Big rigs. I'm going to assume so. I don't know. I haven't played it. Some didn't spend time with their kids to program this. No, they didn't. No, you're right. Okay. So here's the deal. I'm just trying to figure all this shit out. I'm so stressed. I'm ready to be done. But I'm trying to get back to everybody at the same time. And it's crazy, dude. This game is exactly like that. Which you need more a $5 sandwich. Yes. That's what we did. I missed a lot there. I kind of went off the deep end for a little bit, but we got some plants to plant. And then here's the penalty. All right, so continuing on with the rants, I got to finish this and then wrap this up. So, good thing I got home. All right, so that's done. I thought I was going to crash. Or I thought I was going to be done and have to restart the day over and over again. And that's not big of a deal. You pick like, I don't know, 9, 20, whatever, something plants. Not very many at the most. 10, 20 plants. And then you crack. But if you fill everything up, I think about the people that instead of having a garden here, take everything and fill it up all day. And then they take it all the way to the shop, and they go to the annoying, inconvenient one that you can't back your truck up into very easily, but it is possible. So you try, and then you fuck it up and have to restart the day because the whole thing went on. Oh, it's the worst. I hate restarting the day when I'm coming back and on that road. I was going just a little too fast, and I'm ready to be done with this game for the night because I'm staying up later than I should. It's like I didn't pay attention to this fucking family member because I was trying to collect these things and sell them, and I just crashed. Like, it's a sad game, dude, and it's a sad reality. But not everybody's in that position, so we'll see what happens. I just let this thing go and do your best to avoid the bullshit, man. That's what I'm trying to do. And this game is bullshit, but you know what? It was valuable. I loved it. I've had so much fun just doing that, and I thought, instead of getting upset about this game, I should just play it on stream. You can see what actually happens. But hey, if you're looking for that, I also thought, like, what are these games? Because you buy some bad games thinking, all right, here's going to be a glitchy, funny game, and then it's just a boring game. I want to find something that's actually entertaining, and at least this was a boring game that was entertaining. It was good enough to. I'm continuing to play it. What am I doing? I'm trying to get the last thing. I thought I want to give this game up right before getting the last vegetable, right? Because all the crops that I fucking hate harvesting every day, we'll get the best one of those. So that's what I'm doing. I'm right there. I just have to harvest these stupid avocados and whatever plants and sell them to the guy. It's the same guy everywhere. And then I crash at the end of the day when I'm trying to play. Okay, so that's okay. There's all the different ways you can crash. You can crash on that road. You can crash, collecting them and trying to blah, 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 blah. And I found a way to actually make that useful, which I need to do beforehand, before I leave. But there's a point where you make it all the way to the end of the day. And then you crash irreparably in your garden. And you can't get out of it. Your truck is stuck and you're stuck, and you think like, this was the last of these all these rows that I planted. And it's I stayed up late to do this when I have to be up early. Oh, the pain. But at least because I feel it, I can laugh at it. And that's why I go into these things knowing that. That's why I think trading works with me, because if you can play a game like this and find the joy and just the ridiculousness of it, then you can trade successfully. You just have to work on it. And most people don't want to work on it. So that's what I've been doing. And you know what? It's been paying off. So that's the game. It's really actually fun. It's a little ridiculous sometimes. That's why I said it. That's why I'm streaming it. I have the crates there. So what do you do with this game? You just harvest them. But that gets so tedious, and I try to find ways to make it go faster. So I thought crates and blah blah blah. Well, yeah, maybe, but once you get to a point where you buy the stuff, I don't really want to do that anymore. So I'm just gonna plant whatever the next day and do it then. Not try to do it once in a row. Once in a row. I press the reset button. Just if I want to ruin it. I was taking a chance. You have no idea how big of a chance I was taking by doing that. I could have just like a cat crashed. Oh, and I gotta use the bathroom. So then you kept. Okay, what else do you have to do? You have to eat a sandwich, and you have to use the bathroom. That's it. So sure, I have a kitchen. I could make food here with the food that I grow. Farmer Life Simulator. Oh, here's a kitchen. Look at this. I want to do stuff and play a game where you're simulating the whole thing. But no, it's just collecting vegetables. It's terrible. But at least they let you pee. So I do that and then I go to bed. And then it starts over again. You know what happens when you go to bed? Boom. Gives you a hint. Oh, look at that. He goes to bed. Selling prices on vegetables shops changes every day. Fuck that one up. And then you're the hands again. And you need to eat that sandwich and you need to pee. So I thought, well, maybe you don't need to eat the sandwich. Maybe you don't need to pee. I'm a rebel now. Well, yeah, you don't, but then your health goes down. Because there are consequences for what you're doing. Look, nothing in the morning because I didn't go through it. But you know what I don't have to do? I don't have to collect all those vegetables and then crash. Not be able to recover. Not be able to even go get the next day's stuff. So, at least I'm doing that today. If I crash, I just restart the day. And you're like, why do you drive through the thing if you're worried about crashing? Because it's that boring of a game, but it's also just that fun enough to where you do it. Because you're hoping you'll crash. This turn right here, it's the thing. There you go. All right, so you see why I'm saying this game is it's fun. There we go. At least when you exit a vehicle and there's okay, so if there's a catastrophic event, you're flying through the air, you just exit the vehicle and you're good. It throws you with that force, and it's kind of like shocking because I've played games where there's fall damage, and I think that if there's no fall damage in the game, we would have zero sensitization to the stimulus on the screen. But because of that, it's like everything tenses up, and you know you're gonna be okay, but it still tenses up. And some people get a thrill from that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we all do, but it's so annoying. And I'm here at the vegetable shop. No, I can't do anything there yet. I don't have anything to sell or to put on the rack. So we all want to do that, right? We want to live on our farm. We want to grow vegetables and just support ourselves with that little thing. Oh, man, you got to drive into these places and get this stupid sandwich. Well, not every day. I do it anyway, though. Why? Because it's annoying to have your health go down and go get the stupid pharmacy thing. I keep hitting R instead of F. F is to exit or enter the vehicle, and then R is to reset the vehicle because it's ultimately crashed these stupid doors. They make it so that the doors have more. It's just, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so annoying. But some of these meters at the bottom empty and go to full, and some of them are full and go to empty. And why don't they go the same way? It's all. Oh, God, there's so many things about this game that you just think it's going to be like a fun, relaxing game. It just makes you so mad. It's a rage. It's rage. People want. You can reset the vehicle without. Oh, that's right. There you go. So it's not really doing anything because I'm not in it. It's based on the force that's being applied to me. There we go. So I ate the sandwich. I have nothing else. I need to go get the plants and plant them. All right, so we just want to live on a farm and plant our plants, right? Who doesn't want to do that? Everybody does. I thought, let's see. It's Unreal Engine 5. It looks like 4 going on here. It says something about 4. Maybe it's 5. I don't know. I feel like it's 2023, and I haven't been playing games for years, and I've been seeing gameplay and screenshots and all this stuff, and I just feel like, all right, this is kind of... Oh, we got an ad coming in like a minute and a half as I'm looking up at the thing, so I have to swerve off the road. Yeah, I got an ad coming up. And I'm just going to complete a day here, and then I'm going to call it for the day, because it's been fun, but, you know, this is... My farm adventure is just a little too stressful. But that's just me. I think that's mostly my personality. Everybody thinks it's... we're trying to blame everybody else, but I think it's mostly just our own personality. What we look for results in this, and then how we perceive it results in that, too. Oh, I keep eating the thing. All right, can I buy the fall? Nope, not yet. So I am not cool enough to buy the final plant. All you do is you come to this guy right here and look at this. Oh, he's the same guy, right? Just a different outfit, and then the dog. We have the tomato, which you start with, and then this is, you can't buy any of this, right? And you think, ooh, mysterious, what's up there? What do we do with all those plants? Do we use different things to do different stuff? And blah, 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 blah. Well, at some point you get oranges in the middle, and then when you buy the orange juice bar, you sell your oranges to that. And before that, you buy the vegetable shop, and you just put whatever you have in there. But I didn't know about that one. I found the vegetable shop last. I probably found it right when I started playing the game, but I was overwhelmed by everything, so I just ignored it. And that's really all you do is you buy those things, and then what do you do from there? I don't know. That's why I wanted to play it on stream and see what happened, because it was kind of funny. It's kind of fun. So I got to buy from this guy. What do? You just walk up to the plant, pick it. And you start with the tomato, you go to an apple. There's a hot pepper there, but I think you go to the bell pepper next, and you can't buy that. Or maybe you go, I don't know, whatever it is. It gets more expensive as the line goes on. And I'm looking for oranges. So buy some oranges. What do you do? Normally I would buy crates, which I'm not going to do right now. Maybe I should buy a few. I don't know. Because it's annoying. Depends on how many things I actually want to get. I haven't found a way to do this faster. You just come and select the crates. And put them over here. Stupid thing. Stacks up. You know, like, oh man. Now I gotta put another stack, and it's not fitting because I'm just kind of doing this quickly. Yeah, it's quick. But normally I'd be doing some others. I'd be making it more even, and it becomes a pain. Really. So right now, I'm experimenting a little bit with just grabbing it and putting it there the way it shows up. Oops. Hitting button after button. So it's awesome to be playing this game on stream on a Friday night. Thank everybody for being here. This is the cool club. The ones that are able to come here and buy crates. Talk about trades that are decent, but then nothing else after that for a little while. Waiting for that Fed meeting. When do I trade? WWE trades. When do WWE trades happen? Once or twice a year. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I had the last couple of years that worked. So that's what I was looking for. I found it. Man, was it painful. Was it painful to miss out on the best parts of that. Even though I was right. Even though I made a good amount of money. Even though I'm done. Just, oh. Could have been so much better. All right, I'm not paying attention, so this is the annoying thing too. I'm not used to these camera angles. Everybody is nowadays game all the time. What am I looking for? Oranges? It's way over there. Okay. So this is, I think about, what is this this skill that I'm developing right now? Because this is a skill. I'm trying to do all this stuff. Oops, resetting things. See, they stay right where they are. I'm just going to grab, that's what I'll do. I'll grab a little bit of everything. Why not? You plant them. Get a few oranges. Let's grab everything here. Stack it more. I need to stack it because if you end up trading a bunch of stuff, you need more. Yeah, it doesn't work as well to do it this way. Boom. I'm going to complete one day here. And then I'm going to call it for the night. But this game is so much fun if you just want to literally plant plants. And they have differing prices in the store. But generally, as you continue up, they're worth more and more. You think, which is it better to plant this brand new one that's worth 75, or is it better to plant this eggplant or this bell plant? It's 40. Should I be planting tomatoes? Well, you can plant any of them. But I think, this will have kind of a range that it trades in. If you don't have a lot of money, this is not a bad object. It's not a bad option because it has it's $40. You can grow it and then sell it relatively well sometimes, because when you're spending 65 for pears and you find out that the $40 bell pepper was worth twice, 3 times as much, man, you're pissed. So I found out, yeah, they're different. They vary, but these things are reliably more expensive up here, and I have them all the way up to this passion fruit, which is what I sold this morning before I was like wiping out all over the place. And it was worth over $100 for the most part. And there was this plant I'm going to even pretend I know about. And there's avocado, which I'm not even pretend I know about. Avocado. No, I know avocado. Bell pepper. Bro, I'm from California. I know avocado. And I know bullshit avocado, but like, hey, I know bullshit avocado. Nobody else knows avocado the way I know bullshit avocado. And good avocado, too. It's not like, by default, I end up with some decent avocado sometimes. It's not that fucking New York avocado. No, it's avocado, dude. It's fucking avocado. You got apples. You got... Oh. Alright, so it's hard to jump up on the truck. What do? You jump up on the hood. Place it up here. How high can you stack it? That you will experiment with that, and you'll find that it becomes ridiculous at a certain point. All right, so that's the last thing I should do here. I should stack this truck to the absolute maximum. All right, so you end up getting a bunch of crates, way more than that. You're gonna stack them reasonably. I'm just gonna buy whatever I seize. There we go. Getting in the hood now, and it's so annoying to drive this stuff, but. What am I expecting, What am I expecting for a, however, like $2 game or something? It could have been more than like $5. There we go. Bought mini oranges, but I'm going to see what I couldn't figure out how to take the oranges into the juice shop. I spent $25,000 on a juice shop. I got up morning after morning to buy a juice shop, and I don't know how to deliver the oranges to the juice shop. It says, bring oranges. Okay, I brought oranges. Where do I put them? Grabbing them everywhere. Nowhere. There's no yellow thing. The reasonable store that has a little yellow thing inside the doors that are... You can't, it's so hard to back up in there. It's the most frustrating game. So if you're looking to relax, don't buy this game. I could put way more on there than this. I just want to let you know. This is not even... This is a joke right here. You can stack... Alright, I gotta do it, dude. I gotta stack it up higher. Because... It's funny, but then when you do it every day, it's not funny anymore. It's just the way the game goes. So let me get out of here. At least it makes it stop. Man, I'm going to back up a little bit. Eggplant. That's a good compromise, and bell pepper. Even though those ones at the top produce so much more. Or they can sell for so much more. That doesn't mean they do. Got avocado. I don't remember if I did, but I'm going to grab one here just in case. So I need to have a little bit of everything. And tomorrow we'll see what the price is of all those. Oh, God, I actually have to stack this thing. All right, bell pepper. Why not? It's $40. So is it better to be cheap? Let's see. This is just like the market. Is it better to bet on the cheap thing? Or is it better to hold out for the quality thing and then jump off the hood? Quality thing? This is tomatoes, isn't it? I forgot what I grabbed. Bell pepper, $40. Is it better to buy the budget bell pepper that's at least a few steps up? Or should you be buying the passion fruit and the avocado and all the orange plus? It's like, all right, so we're doing this one, maybe the eggplant, because the eggplant is the one I went with. I just bought the $55 one because it would produce. Sometimes you'd have like $100+ gains on that one, but the other ones would end up being like, oh, it's $40 day, $50 day. Eggplant's like, whoa, it's 106? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Pear, oh, it's more, but it's expensive. Yeah, I'll do eggplant. So smart. You're still playing the game. You think you're smart doing this stuff. Everybody thinks the same shit, too. Like, oh, no, yeah, you do. You get up, you play this game. Any game like it, you end up doing the same shit. Like, why did I spend all this time on this game? And it's frustrating to miss a jump, but it's even more frustrating to spend an entire day doing this. and then flipping your car into the ravine and not being able to recover, at least not knowing how, at the bare minimum. Hot bell peppers. Just do that. Get up on the hood. So this is how it would work completely realistically. And what I should have done is I should have pulled up to this thing and just picked it just close enough to actually grab something. There it is. So I'm going to grab the stupid pear. But now I have to put it up there, which means I have to jump up. Oh, that's getting annoying. So how high can you stack this thing? Pretty high. It'll eventually just stay in the air instead of actually go in the truck because of the way you put it. Should be. Well, I'm going to sell them if they don't go to the juice place again. There we go. And you can kind of rotate them, and it doesn't matter in this case. There we go. Just how high does it go? It goes higher. Yeah. Whoa. Here we go. And I think that's about it. You might be able to get a little higher than that. And I think if you really tried, then yeah, you could. But at a certain point, the boxes are going to start sticking in the middle of the air. Oh, man, you got to get a running start. Do this properly, because this is how you would spend a day in the life of the farmer. I'm a farmer. I jump on the hood and throw all these boxes up there. But I'm too high up to get it. Otherwise, I just grab it and put it right in. So that's the way you do it. You'd stand in there, you'd grab it, put it right in like I did initially, but you do it better. You do it like a respectable human being instead of somebody that's trying to finish off a podcast who's regretting having to do this whole fucking thing, fill up a truck with all these bullshit plants and then grow them and sell them the next day on a game that I'm so tired and angry about in the first place. But I would say definitely play it. It's a good game to play. So if anybody that actually has anything to do with the game is thinking I'm dogging on it, I'm not, actually. This is I want a game like this. I'm just basically stuck. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting whatever I get on the hood there and see what actually cares. You know what? I think I skipped the hood for the most part and just put it up here on top of the cab. Because I don't remember if it worked or not, but I'm going to try to load it. So, all right, at least I'm going to finish this thing out in style. Try to fill this whole thing up with boxes. It's going to be annoying. I appreciate everybody being here. I know it's probably not fun to sit here and watch somebody stack boxes onto a cart, onto a car, a truck, onto a vehicle. And just do it when you're so tired. Oh, God, I did everything, man. I had a busy week, hit the gym, try to work out, try to do my thing. It's not easy. But I do it. And I can see how this bullshit continues, man. Because I'm like, I get it. I get how everybody does their thing. I get why it just stays the same day after day. You know, but we can slowly do things about that just by being decent people about everything. That's all you have to do. And just, well, try to do something positive, obviously. But you're either doing something positive or you're fucking shit up. And if you stop fucking shit up and do something positive, it works better. That's the basic message. It's not all this complicated shit that everyone's trying to fight about. It's like, no, just do something good. Stop trying to fight everybody else and do something good instead. So what you should do is get on stream, load a car up with some bullshit that you don't want to plant and grow and harvest and sell, and then do that. So this is the this is the truck right now. Why are you showing me this? Yeah, well, this is the truck. That's why I'm showing you this. It's just realistic, I think. I get one on the edge here if I'm cool with it. Nope. I jump up. Oh, there we go. There's some more. At a certain point, you can keep loading it if you load it responsibly, but it's not going to go. So I don't know where that is. I'm pretty sure a lot of that is above it. However, I'm taking advantage of the physics. We think about how difficult it's going to be for things like AI to like really figure all this stuff out. Well, here you go. Here's all the stuff they're working with. So I don't doubt that they're going to do it one day, but they're still looking at shit like this to figure the world out today. I mean, this is somewhat accurate in some ways. There are trucks, there are crates of vegetables, you can plant them, there are farmers, there are places to get stuff. And you know what you have to do at first? You have to water it. So you can get a watering system. You also have to fertilize it to get it to grow quickly. And you know what? I just bought the fertilizer right away and never didn't. So I don't even know what it takes. I think I've missed some and it didn't grow the next day. So I think perhaps once. But other than that, I can see this is so sinister. You just have to collect these crates. You have to put the stupid fertilizer in, and then you get more and more plots over time. And for what reason? So you can make more money, so you can buy the stupid juice stand in the vegetable store. So I'm gonna go here and buy all this stuff, and then put it at the vegetable store. See what happens, because I've done everything up to that point. I haven't done that, and I saved it specifically for a stream so I could see what if there is any point, if things change. You know, I doubt it. Error. I don't have any money. I have some money. What do I have? $51. So let me grab one bell pepper. You know what? I'll grab an apple. I'm probably bought one apple. I'm out of money. So is this truck suitable to drive home? The thing. There it is. Let's do it. Unreal Engine, baby. Look at that. It's majestic. And it could be crazier than that, but I was trying to go quickly for stream. So here we go. What moves? Nope. That stuff doesn't. How do I get... There we go. Oh, I don't want to have to drive like... There we go. This is terrible. Okay. Alright. There's another thing right there. You might jump that and then flip uncontrollably there too. So there are a few more points. Oh no. I'm so waiting to destroy this. Uh-oh. Destroy the laptop. Let's knock that over. Oh shit. It's 9 p.m. already. And when it turns 10 o'clock, everything just instantly goes dark, except for the properties, where there's lights. And I was doing this every day. Buying this many plants, planting them, harvesting them the next day, selling them, going and buying more plants. And eventually having enough money to get the juice stand. Going like, I don't know how to do anything. So instead of finding the vegetables, just, put them on the shelf. I found the juice thing and nothing worked. I was so mad that I wasted enough time to make $25,000 to buy the juice stand. And so many times this would be the place to just massively wreck. Didn't they have stuff on the roof or on the... Alright, so some stuff didn't go or got pushed into the back. I should have... there it is. It's dark. It looks like it's not bad, but if you were out in that... Oh, look at that. Look at that. It'd be pitch black out there, even with the lights on. So then, you just take all this stuff, start putting it here. Boom. I'm not even going to plan it today. Normally, I'd have it all planted because 12 o'clock is the last hour of the day, and you start getting punished at the... You can't really see it because I had to zoom in on this thing to make it fit right. But your health, which is the green bar, third bar down from the top, dictates your ability to move. Your speed is above that, and as long as it's full, you can run full speed. As you've been working later and later, especially when your hunger and your bathroom are terrible, starts dropping that, and then you're even slower. And you think, I'm going slower in this game I fucking hate. So it's torture, dude. It is literal torture. It's so weird that as a species we literally do this for entertainment. We want to live this life so bad. Well, that's why. Because we think about how complicated life has become, how easy it was at a certain point, and they didn't know it was easy. And now it's at this insane point. It's just getting more and more insane for the average person to figure out what the hell to even do. We'd love to be able to just grab some plants and put them in the ground and go to sleep in our little house. We have water and fertilizer and a kitchen, a bathroom, a nice comfy bed. Do it again every day. Don't need to get exercise because we're getting enough exercise from our daily routine, feeling good. No matter what we do, that's all we need. Those three things that never run out. It's human nature right there. We all want that. Not going to get that. However, we can at least try to improve our situation enough to not have to deal with the crazy shit. But in the meantime, I'm going to harvest some crates here. Pop them in there. Getting deep late night, but not really trying to do this kind of shit. It's annoying. See this? I'm just putting crates out here over and over and over again. But I'm doing it. So congratulations to them for actually getting me to do that. I should probably put some over here too. Why not? Oh, I opened one. Dang it, dude. You have to plant them. Alright. I guess that's kind of annoying. So that's what you do. You open them and then you put them in the plots there. But now I have to run back and forth or move them or... Just takes longer to do stuff. I want to get through this game. If I wasn't streaming it, I would not be playing it. I would have just given up quite a while ago. But no, I also thought about it and I thought, this could be some therapeutic for certain people. This kind of thing, it gives you enough purpose to feel good. Like, all right, I got a few spaces now, and I'm planting these oranges. I'm planting peppers. Look at that. No more tomatoes. No more apples. Moving up with this shit. You're just doing the same thing. But you do it anyway. Because life is like that right now, isn't it? It's so hard to find... Man, when this whole streaming revolution began and basically online video in general, there were so many possibilities, and it's just so sad where it ended up compared to where it could have been. And this is kind of on the way to something so amazing. Because look at that. For the first time in our history, we're at a point where you could just be a person that comes to this game. Oh, and he's... God damn it, dude. I do this shit all the time. Well, not really. I don't do that often. But now I gotta unload those from there, too. Good job. Just get this stuff unloaded. I'm not even gonna finish growing them. That's how tired of this shit I am. Oh, at least these stay in your car until the next day. You have no idea how much this irritates me to just be throwing boxes around indiscriminately. Because eventually you realize some kind of order is necessary in order to continue doing this thing without pulling your hair out. You get 3 fruits per tote. You get all these totes. It's $3 a tote. So you're basically paying $1 a sale on all of these. You buy them in packs of 6. There's no way to do something besides that from what I've seen so far. So, just throw the thing out there, make stacks. What would you do if you were farming and all that shit was happening? What would you do? Off to sleep. Good night. Thanks for being here, Kijiji. I appreciate that. You're the best, man. Absolute best. Great to have everybody here. It's fun to play this game, so let me ask anybody that's here, what do you think of games like this? I mean, what games do you have that you've done stuff like that with? That's what I want to learn. What are the other ones like this? But if you know any that have terrible glitches and bugs, oh, I'd love to hear about those. That's what I'm looking for. That's the whole reason I'm playing this, because it was amazing to go flipping around in that thing sometimes. Oh, there's some... Look at that. There's some plants. I actually bought quite a few plants. This is nice. So here's the question. Are there crates jammed under this thing? Sometimes you have to actually look under there or in between it, because you'll drive through the crates and then they'll just stay where they are. Oh, see? So here's what I figured out. If you want to collect stuff, you can stack it in a pile and run it over. Yeah, maybe you'll glitch out of the game, but most likely you won't. Instead, you'll probably just do that in a box and just flip over. You'll still have all the crates you had. And if you roll, you'll pick up all the stuff you set in that area, which is great when you pick up all the crates, but it sucks when you pick up the empty carts and you have to put them back. And it's just so annoying to be like, oh, I was right, but I was also wrong, so I basically ended up net neutral. Which is what happens in trading a lot. Getting good is doing that. It's going from losses to just not really making anything, which is good improvement. And if you wait for the right times, you can find the opportunities that actually lead to something, which is what WWE did. And I forgot I was flipped over. I'm just trying to go on this rant and close this thing out, but I'm upside down here. Let's flip the car. Boom. Look at that. Oops. Let's drive this thing. So this is the last thing I'm going to do. I'm just going to drive around, hit some stuff. Oh, that didn't go, but oh, there you go. Flipping it. All right, I'm back. So what I normally did was just jump out of the car if things went catastrophically wrong, which they sometimes would. This time, I didn't really need to do that. It sort of stopped. At least I'm carrying the box up there. There you go. This is the future. All right, I thought we'd be playing these amazing games by now, but no, it's this shit. Oh, it's all dark out here. Oh, got lights. All right, look how you want to see how well the lights work. Here we go. It's pretty good, huh? Where are you? I don't know. Doesn't help you to see 2 feet in front of you. I guess that's kind of realistic. You could be out in some area where you can't see that far in front of you at all, or behind you or anything. Although you can see this horizon there. It's end of day, which means it's time to get back. And I'm being penalized. Ooh, there's the road. Nice. So you can kind of see that, but then you hit the rocks. So that's what this game is designed for. It's designed to be treacherous at night when you don't know what's going on. You got a truck full of plants and shit. You end up actually making the turn going full. Well, I couldn't go full speed. I hit the wall. If you're going full speed around that turn, you're done. That thing's done. Zoom out. It's as good as it gets. And you have to get gas sometimes. That red line is that you can't see right now, I guess. Let me go fill it up so you can see which line I'm talking about. Is the gas. So I pull into this gas station. I love this. Get out. Okay. Dude, it glitches on you. You try to grab stuff and it doesn't work. 21 bucks. I don't have enough money. I have $6? I should pay attention to that first. Okay. Driving back. The point was to see how crazy it was at night. So if you're anywhere, if you're at the store still, you haven't even gotten to the plant guy. Oh, you're so annoyed. You got to drive in the dark. I was trying to cause a wreck there and it didn't go. So it's you just play the game and you'll wreck like that. If you're looking for a game that actually does that kind of stuff, yeah, Farmer Life Simulator will do it. Just play it regularly and be as aggressive as you can with it, and it will certainly start glitching out on you. I'm just try to hit this thing at full speed. Let's see what happens here. Flip around. All right. Oh, it's full speed. Nothing. I missed. I'm just like, now that I'm intentionally trying to fuck the game up, it's not working. This is why I think streaming is amazing, because this is what everybody did when they played games as a kid. They tried to wreck the game. It's just the natural thing you want to do, is try to drive your... This is why I love this game, because this is amazing to me. Having a genre where you can just do that. Not even the same type of game, but just games where you can absolutely break the game. Except for when you try to. Because that's how it works. There we go. Sometimes it's just that. That's what I'm saying. If you just play the game, you'll just be tired, ready to go to bed. You'll wreck for the 17th time. And you just... You get so mad. You get so mad at the... You can't... Oh, it's just too funny. So why do you keep playing the game? It just... Oh. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's better to just play some frustrating game, get mad at that, than get mad at all the craziness in the world and end up causing more craziness. Which is what is happening. It's like instead of responsible people responding, responsible people are going, oh, the responsible thing is to stay out of this shit. So they're doing that. The fucking idiots are making all the changes. And you get this environment. So this game is a representation of our environment. We're in a farmer life simulator in real life. We're glitching out, trying to go through the fields. I've got pipes everywhere. Got plants growing a day. There we go. There we go. Sandwich stuff I can pick up when I barrel roll. If I just, you imagine driving around in your field and just barrel rolling it's all the intensity of a real barrel roll, but you do it so often. It's not a big deal. Oh, that's great. Humor's important because that's how you keep from just being so depressed that you bought this game. It's without that. Oh man, you really spent your money well. Although I've gotten so much, just so much amusement out of it. I'm just knock the laptop over. I'm all right. So I'm just holding the buttons down now and seeing what happens. Seeing if I can, because I know if I go fast enough, this thing will just. Oh, here we go. All right. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna spend the night, and then we're gonna go in the morning and try to hit the other direction because that's where you wreck, and that's when you'll destroy yourself in the field. Is in the morning. Usually night's pretty tame, luckily. Not always though. The worst is to just wreck right when you're going to bed. I got to use the bathroom, otherwise my health is going to go down. Which is true, but I'm on a farm. Come on. Every day. You constantly walk like you're playing. Was that game? The fucking Dead by Daylight. It's literally Dead by Daylight, but farm simulator. There you go. Completed a day, finally. That's what we do here. We play. It's been good. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me. What do? When you have $5 left, you plant the stuff, you sell the stuff, and you're dead. I'm getting tired. I need to get out of here at some point, but this is such an opportunity to wreck. All right, I'm going to plant one thing. How about that? Just pick it up. Boom. So do that for all those plots every day, and that's the whole game. See ya. Let's see if we can just do this. This is going to happen. I have complete faith that this game will hold its end of the bargain. That was weak. There we go. Normally what I would do is just put the mouse aside and steer with the keyboard to make things simple. There we go. Let's try to get this turn. This one I'm probably not going to flip, but it's always, if you don't slow down, it's an annoying turn. Which that's basically what the difference is between playing as a kid and playing as an adult. As a kid, you'll never slow down, but as an adult, you're like, whatever, let's slow down a little bit. Oh, look, it works a lot better. As a kid, you won't figure it out until you've been playing the game for 2 months. You're like, wait, I could slow down. Yeah, you'll slow right down. We hit this guy. Let's get a sandwich. So you need a sandwich to live. But you think about that, that'd be dope to get a sandwich every day. You don't have to do anything. It's just every day there's a bomb sandwich waiting for you at some random place. Not sandwich, like this place. It's called Sandwich. I always hated restaurants that are just called food in different ways or different types. Like, all right, your food. So many languages have like the word food as a restaurant. Makes sense because you're just trying to say, hey, I have food here, but it's just from a pretentious level, yeah. Oh, I don't have any money now to get that sand out. 0 money. Right part, there it is. I don't know why I did that. I'm mostly just trying to crash and then finish the stream. But I mean, there's value in this. Is this funny or not? I think it's kind of funny. So what do you do when the thing starts to slow down? Go to the mechanic. So let's go to the mechanic real quick. I don't have anything to sell. Luckily, I hate trying to back up into that store and not have to go in and out of the doors. So there's an easier store where you can just pull up next to it, but you get a little less for everything. Or you can use that store, and it's annoying to back up into. So you end up not and just unloading the thing in the annoying way. But you do it anyway, because you're trying to make the money and be done with this game while you're still playing it. So what do? Slow truck. Pop it in the square. I don't have enough money. $61. Keep forgetting about that whole money thing. This game makes you forget about money. That's what we want. Everybody wants to be able to just grow some crops and not have to think about money ever again. That'd be great. And you think about the old times, how much easier it was for them. Nah, dude, they didn't have all the shit to do it. It's different stuff. We each want what the other one had, but you can't always have. So you end up with $1 and a bunch of stuff hanging off the side of your truck. Let's see. All right, here we go. We're going full speed now. See, it never does the thing you want it to do. You're hoping it'll do it. But if I get enough speed on this, which I'm not because I'm going uphill. You know what? I bet if I had the truck fixed up, it would actually work a little bit better uphill. Maybe not. So there are little penalties to it, which, of course, there has to be something. Still kind of funny. And then you'd plant them and go to bed. Alright, I'm just going to go to bed. But I didn't plant everything. Well, I don't care. I'm trying to flip the truck. I'm not trying to make cool garden stuff. I already got the thing. But I don't have any plants to give to the guy. Should plant some more than just the 2, though. Get a little more money. And that's how they get you. Right there. What I just did is the absolute thing. We all do it. You just give in right at the last moment. Do the thing. Because I'm doubling my money. Yeah, I am doubling my money, but I'm doubling my time. Which one's more valuable? Both, yes. But in this case, I'm just trying to do this, and I'm literally never going to play this game again after I'm done today, because it's annoying. Well, doing it. Here we go. All right. I look at this. I even organized the shelves. Why would I do that? I'm never going to play this again because I have a farm. I have some stuff planted. I have that. Oh, I wanted to get the final vegetable. That last thing. It just has become more familiar. I don't know if that means just go to town and sell more, if that means buy more from him, plant, sell, do everything. I don't even know. But I'm looking. So then I usually would do everything else. Oh, I can't. It's not late enough. All right, well, I think I'm going to probably end the stream here because I've been trying to get this going. It's not flipping anymore. It's not being crazy. I think I had fun, though. It was cool to flip this thing a little bit and get some interesting footage. It's not bad because it doesn't do it all the time. It just does it at the perfect times, at the perfect intervals to be annoying. Which is both amazing and terrible at the same time. Because then I think about when this was new and they were charging whatever amount of money to play this. God, that'd be so frustrating to pay $50 and have this game be the game. I don't know what it was, though. Maybe it was always a cheap game. Maybe it wasn't. It looks decent enough that depending on how old it is, it could have been an okay game to have at some point, but I don't know. I'm out of it. There we go. Okay, I'm all turned around. Guess I'm going to go plant. Until I can go to bed. That's what I want to do is go to bed. In real life and in game. I'm tired. Not being on this time zone means a lot of people are in bed or going to bed. Maybe they're waking up real early. I don't know. There's people everywhere, but for me, it's late. I'm getting ready for bed. I'm just trying to play a game a little bit and hang out with the homies on stream. That's the point. Right now, I'm waiting for that Fed. That's the big event. Because if you're making little trades, yeah, something might come up, but you're not going to have a WWE Thursday moment every day. It's very rare. And if you're like me and you don't watch that stuff, you might have missed out. However, I had enough exposure to friends who liked it that it made me watch it in the stock market. And once I did, I realized, hey, this is better than I thought. And I love the fact that it's so controversial because that means a lot of people won't jump into it yet. When you have something that continues to go, you need future perspective buyers as well. Once you get to the top, it's more about sustainability. It's not about the growth prospect anymore. The big companies, the 100-year-old companies, they're paying those huge premiums for those. You're making gains, but the premium is so intense that you can't, without a big move, you can't really do much with that. So these allow for a much, much easier transition. You can pick up just enough, whatever you can afford for things like moves like this, and it works out, even if it's not going to change your life, which, yeah, most trades aren't. And if you think about it like that, you're going to make bad trades. It's just a chance to be like, here we go. Boom, there's a little thing that I recognize. Is it the only trade? No, there are tons of trades. But that's my specialty right there. That's why I talked about it. So I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for hanging out. Friday Night Finance with the Stockalypse. Try to do this most Fridays. And I'm going to be hopefully broadcasting live from the Fed meeting on September 20th. It's a Wednesday. It's going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's the event we're waiting for. The Fed is announcing interest rate decisions and a new SEP, stands for Summary of Economic Projections. That is the thing that companies base their responses off of, and that's what shapes the future in the next few months. The SEP, which then is followed by the U.S. New Year, fiscally, the new fiscal year, which means the money moves around. The stuff we've been fighting about for the past year goes into effect soon. It goes into effect after that point. And all the budget stuff, there's still fights to be fought. There's still money to be decided. But at this point, action is going to start happening. And it's a cascading effect. It's not like it stops right away. There's big volatility right when this continues, or right when this starts. But you'll see as this continues, it picks up. And is it going to be up? Is it going to be down? I don't know. Ashton Phoenix, talking about crash. I think crash is very likely. I think a pump is likely too. But is it going to reach all-time highs? Is it going to pass all-time highs before we get a massive crash? Are we going to keep going in the trajectory we've been going for the past few weeks? We've had a reversal recently. We had a pump. We're having a dump. We come back to that high-volume area that I keep pointing out on the SPY. You can see it. Let me get out of this game real quick. You can see it up here. We're back at that high volume area. Let me switch to that on the chart, and then we'll get off here so we can finish this with stocks. We started with stocks. SPY. This is where we are on the SPY. This is showing you everything that's happened since 2003, 4, 5. Somewhere in there. You see the dot-com crash. You see the 2008 crash right here. Dot-com, 2008. Then you see the run-up where nobody believed anything was happening. They believed it was all going to do this again. See this twice in a row in a decade, that messes with your psychology. When you think when the world is what you're starting to think it is, depending upon when you're coming into age, this might be the thing that shapes what we do next. This negativity leads to a lot of shorting. And when you're in these times and shorting is right for years, the shorts refuse to give up because they haven't seen this environment. They've seen this, which looks very stable right now, but at the time, it was so hard to predict this. Any given moment, you look at it, you go, yeah, that would have been easy to trade. No, it wouldn't have. It's never easy to trade. It's always hard. So when you see stuff like this that seems like a no-brainer, well, go for it. If that's what you want to do. Always be responsible. Do what you got to do. I always take precautions when I can and when I need to. But for the most part, I'm just trying to take the trades that actually make sense. And that's my precaution. Use the right amount of money. Use enough to where you set aside a pool for trading and you just use that. But you continue on. You hear pops. You don't know what's up. So you say it's up in the market. There's pops outside. There's pops in the market. You ride that up. You do what you got to do. But sometimes you take gains. Sometimes things reverse. And could we come down to this line down here? Absolutely. I think if we continue, we're still in support as roughly in this area right here. So you see these two lines, these are the high volume accumulation areas. The middle of the section right here is where, let me rephrase that. So the middle of the zone right here is where there's going to be quick movement. Every time it gets to that point, it's up at the other section or down at the other section quickly. So that's when you know there's going to be enough movement to go long on some kind of trade, whether it's to the upside or the downside, whatever product it is, I don't know. But if you're looking for movement, that's when you get your movement. Then you get your volume crunches, and that's when you can make money with premium. So during this time, I've mostly been taking part in the volume crunches. Just there's a volatility crush that happens with options, and you can take advantage of that. Sometimes, I mean, it's not as easy as people make it out to be because it's so fucking hard to time after a while, especially when you're mired in it. But if you use it properly, when it's the time to do that, you can instead of betting on the specific event, you can just bet on the volatility of the event itself. Because volatility always expands and then contracts. The question is, what's the time frame? And looking at the history, you think, oh, I can get this. Nah, it's going to look different in the moment, and you're going to get it at the wrong time. It's not as easy as you think, which is why the market moves as much as it does. Because AI is trying to outthink other AI and people are trying to outthink AI, and the whole thing has become an ecosystem that's so complex and so hard to actually get stats from that even the biggest institutions in the world don't have all the information. So I thought, just let them do all the hard research, and eventually the basic stuff will leak out. Stuff that's actually good and makes sense will spread in the communities from knowledgeable people to everybody else, and it's going to be a slow process, but after a while, different things will have to happen because everybody knows what's going on. And that's part of the reason why we have these moves, because eventually enough shares change hands that people can move the stock. People with influence in the stock have the cash and the limited share pool to move things. What you're trying to do is exhaust the sellers and exhaust the buyers if you're going in the other direction. You're just trying to get to a point where the volume to continue it or the volume to bring it down isn't there. Because you might exhaust enough sellers to where the buyers come in mass and pump the stock up way too much. That's what happens when we get these short squeezes. They piggyback on everything else. We get these pumps. We're coming back down to that area. No surprise at all. So for last year, we had some interaction, and before that, we're in the weekly on this, so it's different. But within the last year, we've been in this zone. More than that, last couple of years, we've been in this zone, and we started it with a nice bull market. Eventually, they pulled the plug on the bull market, and it was down ever since. But how low should we really go? Well, this area, this high volume accumulation area, is where people agreed that the low point would be. Is it exactly this price? No, just somewhere in this area. That's the whole point. This is a zone, not a line. I put the line as close to the middle of the zone at the time as I could. That was all I did. As I set the volume profile up so I could see every transaction at the price, and then I put the lines where there were the most transactions. It's so simple. There's nothing complicated about it. And I did it at the exact right time when we had hit a peak after running up quite a bit and had a massive downtrend already in motion. So it was at, I would say somewhere in the middle of this, probably in the middle zones. I started looking at this like, oh, look at this. We've got this whole range, and we hadn't quite bottomed yet, but I think we had hit this low point and bounced, and we were kind of sitting around at the higher points of this low volume, this high volume area. And I added the lines, and look at this. It's been amazing to see what it does with those. So today, since the game was not easy to size on screen, I had some other charts up. I had Bitcoin and Ethereum, so I should probably talk about those a little bit before I dump out. We've got Bitcoin at 26K close. These are the futures. The actual price, last time I checked, which was before the stream, it's about 25K, something like that. 25 point something, and it's basically close enough to 26. So we'll say that with Ethereum. What are we at? 1637 for the futures close, but it's still trading, so that's not the same price. The futures don't open again until Sunday night or Monday morning, really. And usually I would watch that, but I can't. Schedule's not working with that right now, so it's too bad because I like getting that open. It's really nice to see where the futures market opens because that would include the S&P, the Nasdaq, the Dow, everything, all the indexes, plus cryptocurrency, and American markets, certain other markets. All this stuff would open at the same time, and you'd see this massive shift in volume once in a while. It would kind of tell you what was actually going on. And it was a nice way to go. However, that didn't continue to work out forever, so had to find something else, and now I look for these trades like I've seen in the SPY. Now look at this trade, or not this trade, but look at this situation with Bitcoin. It's been pumping for a while, and we've been seeing a decline. And when we're on the lows of that decline, it's nice to grab a little bit if I want to, which I don't always do. Oops. ETC. We've had some pumps. Look at this. This is the past few years. 2021 and 2022. Well, 2020 and 2021 were insane. We had the dual pumps top. And when it's a double top and it's higher, that's what got. Here's what people don't understand about this whole thing. In the simplest terms, this was such a home wrecker because it would hit the top and you'd get this false sense of security that this thing wasn't going to stop, going from 10K to 60K and then just rejecting so hard. So you end up in the middle of the zone, and you know that this is not going to sustain itself in either direction. So you'll probably have another slingshot back up, but because you missed out on all of this, you're so mad about it. You're still up from being in here way low, but you're just mad like, oh, I could have done that. So you're not really buying as much as you should, and then you get up here and go, oh, this looks crazy. I'm going to dump a bunch, and it ends up being right. Oh, that was the best. However, trying to get back in was annoying because I didn't know how low this was going to go. I didn't know if we were still on an uptrend. The double top higher suggested that we were going to continue going higher in the longer term trend, not in the shorter term trend. And that's the thing that's hard to see because when you're trying to time it, you know, with these huge bounces, you can get these massive up, massive down days, and you keep missing out on them. So you finally do it and it doesn't happen. That's going to happen with these things. You have to go longer term because if you're trading long term with this and you're staying off long enough to witness gaps up in a squeeze, gaps up in a squeeze tells you there is massive momentum. Since this is weekly and this is a 5, 6, 7 years, that gap right there is insane. And it's been in a bear market before this point in 2020. Before it was starting to come back a little bit in 2019 for sure, but it had hit a bear market and dropped all the way from 20K to 3 points, maybe 2 points something in some way. I don't really know what the absolute low was, but it was mostly in the low threes is where you would have had reasonable opportunity to grab it if you were into the thing at the time. But me, no, I was already half down on my shit, so I was selling on that time instead of just adding like crazy. If I had added to that position and not done anything else, just added it. Oh my gosh, amazing. But missed out. So all the way up, not taking advantage of this. I got something. I mean, I was selling. Yeah, I bought way down here and I sold. So okay, buying in the higher threes instead of the lower threes, and selling in 10 to, well, I should say 8 to 20 something K. I didn't believe when it was getting to 30K. I was oh, I can't do this anymore. This gap up is about where I missed out on the big move. It was a nice profit, yes, but oh, this was so much more than that. This right here, all of the gains from this would have been absolutely just immensely, this is the opportunities of a lifetime. Anyway, so the fact that there's some resistance in this area, there's some support because we've come back so many times that there is a level of risk. I look at these points, and right now we've been inching back up to that section. So we went past the trend. We came back down below it for a bit, and now the question is, are we really below it, or is it going to continue to go down more? There are a lot of people predicting more downward movement in Bitcoin because there's so much regulation pressure. There are people predicting upward movement. I don't know. Right now it's looking upward, so I'm not fucking around with it. I've got my shares, whatever. I've got my Satoshis. I've got my everythings. Whatever coin I'm in, there's a certain amount of it. I'm just buying little bits of many coins and investing more in the other ones I like more, and then also getting some stocks and trying to have some cash and trying to do my thing and make sure no matter what happens, I at least have some option, but I'm maximizing the options and not just sitting on like, oh, here's a little bit of it. No, work with it. Try to get more. Try to accumulate. And if you're up, do what you got to do. Either get the yield from that product or trade it, move it, hold it, whatever. There are financial advisors that tell you what to do with that kind of shit. But whatever you got to do, this program is for you. I'm just trying to improve everybody's life with some bullshit ass game, talk about stocks, and then get to bed. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Have a good night.